Okay, Scarlet update. We talked about the whole rear end, everything being done, sent it through all its heat cycles, broke everything in, changed all the fluids from front to back. The car is 100% right now. One of the last things to do as part of the rear end rebuild was putting in a rear sway bar. The car never had a rear sway bar. So I bought one, and like everything else, a previous video, I think I talked about how the powder coat was so thick on one side, I couldn't get those little goofy brackets on. So we had to grind, sand. Finally got it in, got it all into place, and the bolts they sent were too short. So it's just like, oh my God, one thing after another. So luckily, we have a company in town, well, in Rhinelander. It's called L&M Supply, and they have a tremendous supply of hardware. And I was super surprised, super happy. They had 7/16 4.5 inch fine thread grade 8 bolts, which is exactly what I needed to finish bolting in the sway bar. And they had them in stock right there in Rhinelander. Incredible. So whenever I'm looking for anything goofy, odd bolt, I will be going there in the future. One of my buddies asked, why QA1 sway bar when you have nothing else on the car from QA1? Because the company I bought all the other shit from was out of stock on their sway bars. Well, that's why. Now, I talked a little bit in a previous video about these goofy blocks that QA1 uses to mount their sway bar. You can see the two aluminum blocks up in there. It's a really different design. Nobody else does that. In hindsight, it actually worked out really good because there's some adjustability there. So I slid the bar back as far as I could, and what that allows you to do is still use like a jack stand under the rear end housing. Most sway bars, you would have to take them out to put a jack stand under the rear end because they run right underneath the rear end. So with this QA1 design, I was able to pull it back far enough where I can put jack stands under the rear end without taking out the sway bar. So that all worked out good. So, other than the tailpipes, which I still haven't resolved that issue, the back of the car is 100% done. And I am super happy. This thing ran and handled and drove so good with this sway bar, and the thing is massive. So like if you ordered a factory sway bar in 1968, it was 7/8 of an inch in diameter. This bad boy is 1 inch and 1/8. It's a big sway bar. It will keep. The next problem I'm going to have is this car's a factory bench seat in the front with just, the lap belt you had in 1968. You are going to feel like you are being thrown out of the car. So we'll talk about that more later. But right now, the back of the car, other than the tailpipes, which I do not have an answer yet, which is not a priority. we are 100% done. So the car goes back on the ground, off the little stands. I can drive it, and I can't wait to drive it with the new sway bar. Weather looks okay right now. Next couple of weeks, obviously, it's going to catch up with us. At that point in time, the car will come back into its garage, forward, and put back up in the air, and the entire front end will be tore off of it and completely redone. Front end, brakes, steering, everything. That's going to be my winter project. So for now, we're going to put it on the ground. You have a few more days to drive it, enjoy it, and we'll update you from there. Thanks for watching.